When you go to New Orleans, you're going to go to the Mardi Gras. Yeah, Jack. And when you go to the YouTubes, you're going to watch Booger's Pick of the Week. Yeah. Welcome to Booger's Pick of the Week in Deep Gras. Deep Gras is the weekend before Fat Tuesday. That's the end of the Mardi Gras season. The big parades. Woo! Fun! Party time! Woo! It would be a party time. I would be on the bandwagon tonight, playing in a parade with my guitar. But no. Well, Booger's been sick this week. Booger's not well enough to get out there on that parade route. He's not going to get to play, and this Mardi Gras can descend to Hades. I don't need no Mardi Gras anyway. So Mardi Gras can just descend to Hades. Forget it now. We just going to talk about some records I listened to this week, and y'all going to like it. You ever in the record store and you come across an old Jimi Hendrix LP and you're like, I hadn't heard of that one, no. I think I need to check that one out. Most of the time you just need to walk away from it. But old Booger didn't do that. No, I picked this one up and bought it. Sure enough, there's some songs on there that were previously unreleased up to that point in 1975. And it's Jimi Hendrix now. He's singing and playing. And the people that produced this release decided it'd be a great idea if they improved those recordings and just recorded over the drums and the bass that the Experience did. You don't need no Jimi Hendrix Experience. Need some studio musicians that's never played with him now. Record some new drums and bass. Well, let's bring in some backup singers while we at it. And hey, why don't we bring in another guitar player? Let him overdub some parts. Let's make this good now. When they did all that, it just kind of sounds like some bland, mediocre 70s like blues rock. It just don't quite work out. I mean, some of Jimi Hendrix magic there, but But, luckily you can hear the recordings of these songs and they're untarnished, unmeddled with form and later Hendrix estate releases, and they're a lot edgier and a lot more powerful the way they work. So you can take this Midnight Lightning and stuff it, Jack. Got soundtrack to Soul Madrid. It's Lalo Schifrin now. Come on. Well, Booger likes Lalo Schifrin. And this cover looks pretty exciting now. Look at old Tully Savalas now. He holding a martini and cackling about something. He cackling about it. And then they got other people doing some guns and chasing and dancing and stuff. It just looks like a good time. But you put the music on and side A's not too exciting now. It's just kind of standard Latin infused lounge music. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not real exciting. But you put it on side B. And then you're going to have some fun now. You're going to have some funky, like fuzz guitar going and some real suspenseful sounds. So all in all, this one's kind of mixed. Yeah, you got a little killer, a little filler. And as I was sick this week, I try everything I do to feel better. But, you got all this sinus funk. I still got the sinus funk. One thing I tried was, get down with the funk. Like, you may as well not try to fight it. Just join the funk. And boy, did I join it with this Cameroon garage funk compilation from Analog Africa. They did such a great job with this. Dog Booger real proud of them. I spent maybe $32 on this at the record store, and they gave me my money's worth. It's a real nice cover. You got nice inner sleeves with like non-static stuff. You got a Bandcamp download code. You get like this big booklet that's got a bunch of pages of color photos and write-ups about all the artists on here. It's a great release and really funky stuff from the late 60s and early 70s, African artists that you never heard of and make you get down. But it didn't really do anything for my sinus funk, unfortunately. Oh, man. I'm sorry. I gotta give me a minute. Somebody help me now. It's time for old Dot Booger's correspondent segment now.
Greetings. I'm famed musicologist and professional supervillain Dr. Milo T. Pinkerton III. Last week, when my old colleague Dr. Booger invited me to contribute a review of the soundtrack to the 1956 science fiction classic Forbidden Planet, I initially resisted, thinking it to be just another boring orchestral soundtrack. Fortunately, my suspicion was wrong! Instead of conventional soundtrack music, this record apparently contains tonalities. In other words, sonic oscillations produced by B.B. and Louis Barron, strictly with laboratory instrumentation. Fascinating. In listening to this soundtrack, I heard many of my favorite frequencies, 253 hertz, 680 hertz, and even the delightfully annoying frequency of 2.24 kilohertz. These various frequencies were, of course, processed through analog filters and audio tape manipulations back in 1956 to make them sound eerie, as befits the story related to the film. But through the modern miracle of digital signal processing, we can remove all these analog distortions and restore the audio to a pristine state undreamt of 68 years ago when this audio was initially recorded. So, computer, is the audio processed?
Affirmative.
Are all the distortions removed?
Affirmative, Dr. Pinkerton.
Excellent. Please play the restored soundtrack. Quite catchy. I know I'll be humming that for the rest of the week. Back over to you, Dr. Booger!
And then we got the Smiths, Rank. I don't particularly find anything rank about this. I mean, the cover certainly doesn't look rank. I mean, in the insert, there's like a picture of a bunch of old boys clowning, like trying to fight over Morrissey's shirt. They just shove some old girls out of the way and go fighting over it. That's kind of rank. That's not good gentlemanly behavior. And I'll give you my spiel about the Smiths. I think I already went through this a few weeks ago when I reviewed a Morrissey album, but people love the Smiths. They love Morrissey. They love him, Jack. Or they hate it. They hate the Smiths and hate Morrissey. That's just a bunch of nonsense, hogwash. I just like them. Like, I'm not really in either one of those camps. And back in the day in high school, when I listened to the Smiths quite a bit, I never really listened to this album. It didn't appeal to me because it's not a studio album. It's a live album. And one of the things I love the most about the Smiths is all the intricate work that Johnny Marr does on guitar. It's amazing. Like, he stacks so many guitar parts on top of each other, and almost all the guitars are real jangly sounding, and it doesn't sound too busy. It doesn't like get overbearing on the treble end. It just works somehow. It's pretty amazing. If you have ever tried to do anything like that yourself, you can start stacking up guitar parts and real quickly you'll have a mess on your hands. And if you listen to them live, you're not going to get to hear that symphony of indie guitars that Johnny Marr does. It's Johnny Marr playing and another guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. And I can appreciate it now for what it is, like the band's in its raw, live, energetic format. You can hear how they get the crowd riled up, Jack. That crowd gets riled up, and like I said, they be ripping at Morrissey's shirt and acting a fool and throwing flowers and fainting and all that nonsense. But that's a pretty good record. And, you know, Okay, so life is simply taking and not giving. England is yours and it owes you a living. Why? Well, okay then. This is a captain now. He doesn't hold a military rank. He's a captain of funk. And you got some pretty killer early 80s synth bass lines that get you popping and locking. But I really appreciate how Captain Sky, like, he knows that life's not all about popping and locking. Sometimes you gotta slow things down and make time for the special ladies in your life, or the special ladies that you want to have in your life. You know, special ladies gonna see the Cap in his uniform, and they're gonna want to approach him. And you gotta be sensitive now. Captain Sky, look at him now. So you gotta slow it down, get some slow jams in there. They not that good, but they on there now. Soundtrack to Wild in the Streets. And what it doesn't tell you on the cover is this is Mike Curb soundtrack that he did with Davy Allen and the Arrows. And it also has some score pieces by Les Baxter. Well, Doc Booger loves all of that. Like, collect Les Baxter LPs and love the music. Same with Davy Allen and the Arrows and just about anything Mike Curb is involved with these soundtracks. I have quite a few of them, and of all of them, this is probably the most dull. It's a little disappointing because I was so excited about that crossover of Les Baxter and Davy Allen and the Arrows and old Mike Curb. I mean, it's kind of standard late 60s rock tunes. You know, it's not terrible. The Shape of Things to Come was one song on there that was kind of catchy, but it just nothing really pokes out, and I kind of feel like Davy Allen was wasted a bit because they just kind of have him doing some pretty ancillary stuff on the song. This sounds tasteful, it's okay, but man, the Les Baxter tunes on here, there's two of them, and they're really bizarre, Jack. Never in a million years listen to it and say, yep, that's Les Baxter done that. Now, otherwise, you know, if you're a collector, a completist, you definitely want to get this one, but I'm probably not going to listen to this one that much.
Basically, he looked much more.
Pick of the week, the Three Sons, Moovin and Groovin. Three Sons is one of Doc Booger's favorite easy listening bands that was really active in the space age and even way before that. But my favorite of their stuff is in the space age, and this is probably my favorite album of theirs. It's on the RCA Stereo Action series, and I feel like this album is part of a holy trinity of stereo action releases. There's this one, there's the Esquivel one, and there's the Bernie Green one. Those are the three ones that I love the most. Otherwise, that stereo action series is kind of like mileage may vary. All of the mixes on the stereo action series are pretty wacky, the way they bounce instruments around from left to right. A lot of times it's just super annoying and distracting. And it's like they just took some music and they did the mixing like that. And it's like the arrangements don't quite fit that format. I think in this case it works out really well because they arrange the instruments where they kind of answer parts of the melody, and different instrument parts almost embody these different devious characters, you know, like man, I would call this pick of the week just for the Danny's Inferno track alone, but there's tons of other killer tracks on here. Killer engineering, killer vibe, killer performances, just on and on and on. I can heap praises on how much I love this album. That's all I got now. I'm tired. I need to go rest up for next Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras now. Say hi to y'all mama and them. Hey, it's the Rolling Elvi. Thank you, Kenny.